Since the majority of the Pascagoula Basin remains intact and undisturbed, it holds a wealth of anthropological data preserved and undiscovered. Scientists from the world over conduct research here on pre-European and Native American cultures and habitats. Another benefit of the Pascagoula's natural condition.
Here's a few shells.
Okay, there's some shells down here.
Becky and Reed Stowe are a husband and wife archaeology team whose passion is searching for Native American settlements exposed during low tide.
Yeah.
An animal bone.
And some fish bone as well.
And that tells us what Indians lived here. And there's a few other potsherds that are just plain, just utilitarian pots. And of course, what they ate is the rangia, these clams. And here's another piece of pottery with an incised line on it, more decoration. And there's also some deer bone on this site. And this deer bone has been split open to obtain the marrow out of the center. The marrow was considered a delicacy until, really until recently.
They weren't sedentary. They would move around seasonally as various types of foods became available, and different conditions would make them move, maybe from area to area. Hurricanes on the coast during the fall months, river flooding during another time of the year. They were hard-pressed to stay put. This is one of the richest areas archaeologically in all of North America. I guess that, there are at least hundreds, perhaps even 1,000 archaeological sites out here in the Pascagoula Delta.
Today, people continue to inhabit and utilize the areas once occupied by Native Americans. Floating communities like Poticaw are part of a swamp culture that emerged after the Civil War. These riverboat-like dwellings rise and fall with the river and are moored to the few remaining private land holdings. Although there are a few people who live here full-time, most of these floating cottages are weekend and holiday getaways to access the recreational opportunities and tranquility of the river. Because there are no dams, levees, or impediments, the Pascagoula is an ideal environment for scientific study. Libby and Paul Hartfield monitor variations in the region's complex ecosystem.
Pearl shell. It's a wonderful laboratory for our researchers to come and study the way systems operate in a natural setting, and we can use that knowledge sometimes to help us with those ecosystems that we have to manage because we live more closely with.
Another yellow sand shell.
Mussels are one of the most endangered faunal groups in the world. They're great indicators of the fish fauna. If the fish fauna is good, these should be good. They're good indicators of stability. If the river system is stable, they'll be there. The blank climbers, I only picked up a couple of them, but you need to put down that they're very common here. I probably threw back 2 or 3 dozen from that just short sample that we did.
Even the slightest changes are recorded to maintain a database that will indicate when problems may be occurring. A small creature, such as a mussel, may tell the story of the health of the entire basin.
One of the important things about the Pascagoula, the intact ecosystem that it is that it offers a refuge to so many different kinds of species. Over half of all endangered and threatened animal species in the United States, the ones listed by the federal government, are aquatic species. In other words, they came from habitats like this. The reason why there's so many of them is because aquatic ecosystems have been dammed, fragmented, separated, isolated, and so we're left with little tiny remnants, little tiny pockets of things holding on. Here we've got an intact system, a place that we can study, a place where we can that we can manage. We're one step ahead here of protecting animals, whereas in other locations it's much worse.
Pon Dixon, a wildlife manager, monitors the population of species on coastal preserves.
Species diversity is really important here, and this is a largely undisturbed river system, which is kind of unusual with the development of the Mississippi Gulf Coast. This river system has basically remained pristine, and to me that's special because wildlife such as sandhill cranes, the osprey, and other species have a chance to make it.
Some creatures on the brink of extinction 50 years ago are today on the verge of recovery. The southern bald eagle, osprey, black bear, and perhaps most significantly, the Mississippi sandhill crane have returned to their native haunts.
The Mississippi sandhill crane is a very visible component of the entire ecosystem in the watershed itself. It's a remnant of the savanna, the wet pine savanna habitat. There used to be a lot more cranes and there used to be a lot more savanna in area. And the longleaf pine and the wet pine savanna are a part of the entire watershed. The grassland habitat is throughout North America is just about gone, and the cranes are part of that system.